pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Everybody. I'll come back next month, okay?
Valentine's Day.
We're gonna make a party today. Roll call, please.
Councilwoman Bozak.
Here.
Councilwoman Driggs.
Here.
Councilman Jordan.
Here.
Councilwoman McGraw.
Here.
Councilman McGraw.
Here.
Councilwoman McCart.
Yes, here. Approval of minutes for December 13th, 2023. So moved.
Second.
Discussion. Roll call, please.
Councilwoman Bozak.
Yes.
Councilwoman Driggs.
Yes.
Councilman Jordan.
Yes.
Councilman McGraw.
Yes.
Councilwoman McCart.
Yes. Approval of minutes for January 3rd, 2024. So moved. Second. Discussion. Roll call, please.
Councilwoman Driggs.
Yes.
Councilman Jordan.
Yes.
Councilman McGraw.
Yes.
Councilwoman Bozak.
Yes.
Councilwoman McCart.
Yes. And the reports. James, do you have anything for us?
I wanted to start off saying that Nicole and I will be attending NEO training next week in Indianapolis, Monday through Thursday. I think we'll be here part of Monday, but not all of Monday. Also apologize ahead of time for the possibility of a few more typos in some of your documents, meeting minutes. Corinne was a proofreader at the newspaper, and so she did a lot of my proofing for me. And until my office gets through year end and Nicole becomes a little more familiar with policies and procedures and processes and government terminology, we're gonna do our best to get through there, and hopefully you guys will be understanding of the situation. And that's all I have for now.
Council members? Clay.
I know on here the Oakley Lane year update is listed. I have had no contact or response to the email.
Town engineer. Shannon. Building commissioner, Chuck.
Other than what was on the December report, CIT Trucking has been doing site prep. No word on when their actual construction will start. Ferguson's repair shop is nearing completion. Pilot Travel is about 50% complete with their remodel. Putnam subdivision streets installation appears to be on hold until the weather breaks, and that's the end of my report.
Thank you. All right, street.
As you know, we're getting ready for our first snowstorm supposedly of the year. I think we're gonna be ready for it. All our equipment is working as it's supposed to be. I would like to make a motion, I'd like to ask council if I could make my part-timer do full-timer. He's shown me that he's able to run all the equipment, he's been out twice, salting, pushing snow. He's just been doing a good job, he's close by, he's reliable when I call him out. It is in our budget for this year, for a third full-time, I think we could really use it, I think we'll use the help. I don't know what happens after that. I don't know if that's gonna be voted on.
And you said it is in the budget. How long has he been working with you part-time?
He had done part-time last year as well. I guess due to some certain funds, couldn't have any part-timers, and then I brought him back, obviously, because we're short-staffed, we have two full-time people here. He has been here, I wanna say 5 months, but he knows everything, he knows it all. I mean, I tell him to do something, he does it, so. It's just something I really could use
Yeah.
in our department right now. Especially with snow season and
I will make a motion to move full-time employee.
A second.
Discussion?
I'm sorry, when would the council like this to take effect and what would the pay rate be?
I know our part-time is starting at 20, that's what our drivers and everybody's starting at. So, and as soon as possible. I don't know if his hours will reflect, I don't know how much snow we're gonna get, so I don't know how many hours he can go into being part-time.
When does pay, like?
Yeah, when does payroll, when does it end, when does it start?
Then,
It requires quite a few more paperwork on his part. We finished the pay on January 2nd, so 14 days after January 2nd, we started a new pay. For that question, that's not necessarily an important aspect. I mean, we can certainly move him starting tomorrow if that's what you
Okay.
guys want. I mean, it's certainly cleaner if you wait for payroll, start and stop for me, but we can make it happen.
I can wait till the next payroll, I just need him for the snow and stuff as much as possible. So, however you guys want to decide to do that.
So with the impending snow, do you guys want to make it tomorrow or do you want it backdated until the next?
I would make it tomorrow, so he knows it's done and over with.
Would he be able to come in and see Jane and fill out any extra paperwork that he might need?
If she has the time to do that.
As a part-time, he's already filled out all the paperwork.
There are additional pages
For a
of
full-time,
a lot of paperwork that he needs to fill out if he's going to be a full-time person.
Yeah.
He needs to go onto the town's insurance policy, he needs to go onto the town's pension plan, he needs to go onto the town's dental and vision and life and short-term and long-term disability plans, he needs to do some other things as well. So there's a lot of paperwork he needs to fill out as a full-timer that he didn't have to fill out as a part-timer. So yes, he needs to do.
So would it just be easier to wait and then can I use them for the snow, basically?
Brandon, whenever you need him, we'll make time.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
I will not be here in the morning, I have an appointment, I will be here late in the morning, how about I connect with you, if he's gonna be here tomorrow and you want him to start tomorrow? We'll get his paperwork started,
Okay, thank you.
okay?
Thank you, Jan.
I will amend my motion for that to start tomorrow.
Second.
More discussion. Roll call please.
Councilman Jordan,
Yes.
Councilman McGraw,
Yes.
Councilwoman Bozak,
Yes.
Councilwoman Draves.
Yes.
Councilwoman McCarthy.
Yes. You have anything else?
As far as that, no, just get the snow, clearing it down.
The only email was just today on the tree on Oak Leaf.
Oh, yeah.
Did we take a look and make sure that it is on town property?
It is, I have not done that, that's something I'm gonna do tomorrow, I just had things to do, but, it's 2 foot from the roadway, so I would assume that's, I don't know the boundary line between Cleveland Cliffs and the town.
Which is big Oak Leaf.
Right.
I mean, it's right there, right next to the road, 2 feet.
I did email Brandon back, and told him if it is a safety concern and is, that he should at least get bids to cut it down, and then we can.
Yeah, I figure,
We're just wondering if it's town.
On our
for the
town property,
If
yeah, I
we
can
have to
fir-
pay for it, we
I
get
can
somebody
follow up with
else.
him tomorrow and confirm that, but if it was on the town property, then I think we should give him permission to at least get quotes on type, because that tree is also by a bunch of residents.
yeah,
With-
it's, I can reach my hand in about a foot, I mean, it's dying inside.
Just grab and take that.
Would like to, but I'm just trying to, I'm gonna get a quote, drop it, and we can cut it up and do whatever we got to save costs, but
Okay.
I just want someone professional to drop it. So,
Okay.
I'll look into that. more
Yeah, no,
tomorrow and I'll
I know
keep you
that
guys
that's just
updated.
a questionable area and I don't wanna get in trouble for touching somebody else's
Right,
tree.
I know like further into the park, it's, I don't know, questionable where the boundary line is, but this is right next to the road. so.
How close is it to the furnace company, because they own quite a bit of property that way, maybe it's furnace property.
I am not really sure, but we'll look into that tomorrow, and we'll keep you guys updated.
Thank you.
Not a problem.
I'm gonna skip police for now and move on to fire.
I have last year's, end of the year report for you guys.
Never seen a fancy report.
Yes, you did.
Fancy.
Outside of the yearly report, we can go over the yearly report first for 23. It breaks down our training hours on that first page. The total amount of training hours was 854, and it's broken down between all of our firefighters, not just with one event, but for the whole entire year. The 3 hours with hours that were put in through our duty night and our tier 2 firefighters that are required to put in 24 hours a month and 1 training night. These are typically firefighters that are certified, pre-certified before they came to Burns Harbor, and they're on other departments. But we let them come here, sleep during the house, in the firehouse, they cook meals in the firehouse, and they cover the town. Some nights it's 2, 3, can have up to 5 in beds currently, and some nights we have just 1. On the second page, there's a mileage report for all of the vehicles in the fire department fleet. We totaled 7,342 miles between all of the vehicles for the year. The backside of that, it breaks down the incidents that we responded to throughout the year. On the bottom, it breaks down the mutual aid that we responded to. And on the last sheet, or page, it showed we broke down what days of the week the calls are coming into, trying to get some better ideas for when we're doing the majority of our work, but it was pretty even except for the times. And that's on the bottom of that last page. And on the back page of that was the end of the year revenue report for the ambulance, billing, and receivables.
Okay.
Currently at the fire department, we're going through our vehicles, our fleet, working on all of our maintenance requirements and seeing if we have anything new that's broken. And it's immediate attention. Other than that, I have nothing.
Thank you. Thank you.
Did you get your tires?
Not yet.
But it's being worked out?
Yep.
Okay.
So we are going to have a little ceremony to swear in Brian as interim fire chief. Ready? And I'm sorry, and Brent as deputy.
So do them as, right, do you want to do them together, or do you prefer doing it one at a time?
Together's fine. If he's okay with that.
Together. So this is gonna be your.
You guys have to stand with your arms on each other.
Okay. And then after the start, when we get there.
Okay, ready? You want to stand kind of, so the flags can go to the flags, or I didn't want that. You want Jeremy's soda bottle?
Well, I mean, we got a great shot of you right now.
Raise your right hands and repeat after me. I state your name.
I, Brent Huffman,
Do solemnly swear
solemnly swear
that I will support the Constitution of the United States of America
that I will support the Constitution of the United States of America
and the Constitution of the State of Indiana,
and the Constitution of the State of Indiana,
and that I will faithfully and impartially discharge
and I will faithfully and partially discharge my duties as deputy fire chief, interim fire chief
for the town of Burns Harbor, Indiana,
for the town of Burns Harbor, Indiana.
in accordance to the law,
So,
and the best of my ability,
that's my ability,
so help me God.
so help me God.
Okay, so we're gonna have you guys sign these. Let's have you sign them, and we'll keep one copy for your reference. We'll keep one at a time.
You thought I would do that? Is that hot in here? No, I'm in Springfield for your end of the year report.
It's actually hard to read something as like a group, since it's, but you have to see different names and different things, and you're like, I don't know what I'm saying. Makes it harder. I'll send you the tips too. Who's got what? This is I know the lawyer. He wasn't even watching.
Congratulations.
Congratulations.
And thank you very much.
Good job.
If everyone wants to leave.
Whoever wants to leave.
We have a lot of work to do.
Thank you all for coming. Thanks for coming to this meeting. We're really glad. You're welcome. I knew they all were me. Like, I knew it.
Well, there was half my audience.
Yeah,
Yeah, we just run the era. It's hot. I said, do we have a box fan that we can put up like behind us?
You guys are sitting right on top of each other.
Right now you can spread.
And that's probably why they're not.
As they expect, we're going
Okay, all right. So I guess we'll bounce back to Jeremy.
You guys should have my monthly and end of year report. I submitted, I think they both got sent out yesterday to you guys. Biggest thing with that, we had an officer resign on January 4th, which won't be on the December report, but it'll be in your January report. We are down one officer right now. Significant events throughout the month, though. Officer John Carnahan was one of the first two officers on scene assisting Indiana State Police, Portage Fire, Burns Harbor Fire with the rescue of the driver that had been trapped in his vehicle for 6 to 7 days. Luckily, we got the information from fishermen and we got to go out and be out there and shut down I-94 for a significant amount of time. Officer Kenneth Zolper was the first on scene with a motor vehicle accident that resulted in the vehicle catching on fire following a collision with a train. She was first on scene and removed the person from the vehicle prior to anyone else arriving on scene. And then Officer Jordan Jacques, we've had some attempted thefts at the Pilot Travel Center. We had some information a month prior. He was in a vehicle pursuit with suspects from that. While still continuing to execute those extra patrols, he located a stolen semi-trailer at the Pilot Travel Center, and we recovered that as well. Those specific officers, I just wanted to recognize, a lot of the stuff they did over the past month is above and beyond. Beyond that, our street department service, basically every single one of our squad cars, I believe, minus like maybe one in the past month.
Thanks, guys.
And then total end of year report, we responded to 3,393 incidents as a police department. Traffic stops, 1,624 traffic stops in the town of Burns Harbor, which is a lot. I would highlight as far as crashes, we had 81 property damage crashes, but only 12 with personal injury. That doesn't include anything on I-94. So obviously the fire department's replying to a significant more than 12, but as far as our town, there were 12. We made 85 arrests. There was 88 misdemeanor charges and 37 felony charges throughout the year. Everything else is stated in the report. Beyond that, I don't know if you guys want to address the pension topic now, or if you guys want to wait till later in the meeting.
Have you guys looked at pensions?
Yes.
Yeah, actually, I had a very good talk with Jeremy yesterday about the pension. We were talking and discussing it and going over the pros and cons of it. And I mean, it's something, from what I understand, looking at it, that it needs to be acted on sooner than later. Not that it has to be right this meeting, but it is something that if we prolong it, it's going to cost us more money down the road.
Can we table it till next meeting and vote on it next meeting? Does anybody oppose to that, or would you rather?
How close are we, Jeremy, to that deadline that we need to
Right.
hit before it costs us another 60 grand or so to?
Well, the 60,000 would be like a total year package, but I would caution you that April 24th is the hard deadline for the data that we have to be valid. If we don't, and keep in mind, there's a lot of things that has to happen. It's not just a matter of, yes, we're in this pension. There's a lot of documents that need to be prepared, ordinances, resolutions, things like that. I have drafts of all that stuff. The issue is knowing whether or not we can do that, but April 24th, the data is valid until then. If we go beyond then, we would then have to request the data to be re-prepared for us at our cost at that point. So any time that we do this after this point, know that that'll come at the town's expense. So.
I make a motion that we keep this till next meeting, February, but we do need to act on it.
Is there any additional, have you had a chance to look at the pension
I've
stuff or?
Looked at it
Or,
a long time ago,
okay,
probably, probably in December,
okay.
when I found out.
Because I want to.
It is a lot of money.
Right,
Putting the contract.
So I
in
guess
there.
the question is, where is that gonna come from? But we can, we can have some chats about that while we're waiting for the next meeting, because that,
Yeah, I think that'll give
find money
everybody a
somewhere.
chance to
Yeah.
swallow this big pill.
So I guess we'll table it, it'll be on the agenda
For
in February.
February.
Do you have any questions or want to get with Jeremy
Yeah.
and set up meetings with him for me answering any questions? And Jane, yes, we've talked, were you in that meeting? Is it? Yeah. Roseanne and Jane and I have talked, a little bit about where we could possibly find money, but let you guys have your meetings too, because we all can't be together, so. We'll regroup, yeah, we'll regroup.
Okay.
Okay.
I guess my only thing with, and I think like could probably add to this, I don't know. I know that there's no like yes or no and nothing's gonna happen in this meeting. I guess my biggest thing is the resolutions, the ordinances, getting all that stuff together, potentially with us doing this. So if we say yes in February, we have a hard deadline of April. Like it's gonna be a time crunch. I don't know where you're.
Does it have to be by ordinance?
So there's a few things that have to be done. There has to be. Basically, the town marshal's department would have to be abolished. That has to be done. And then there are several other resolutions that have to be done. A lot of that stuff is plug and play though, like the documents have been sent to me by InPers. So I just want to make sure that where that lies.
I'm assuming
There's also,
got a lot of conversation.
yeah, we can kind of pause.
Yeah.
Okay, so I have a question. So say they get vested in it, we do our buy-ins of how we have to pay for some of it. Could we then have a contract saying you need to work here for 3 years, 5 years, or you have to pay back a portion of what the town bought in for?
I can't answer that. I have to look at the document, so I would suggest whatever draft documents you have, if you wanna send to me, and we can start working on those in anticipation of getting those. What date in April did you need to?
April 24th, the data's good for 6 months from when they prepared this.
So we have we have the February, March, and April council meeting.
Right. Just, there's all of that, and then there's also physicals and psych evaluations, and there's a lot of things that would have to fall in place. And that's why, like, my only cautionary tale, and I'm not trying to pressure anyone, but just let them know that there is a lot that would need to be done. And the longer it goes, the tighter that window gets to try and get it all done.
Okay, well, for me, can you look into that? Just because say we buy somebody.
Yeah.
X amount of dollars, and then 2 months from now, they're like, we're gonna go to this department, because I can move it, we just bought them out. And now we are down money, but they are out. So if there is some type of contract we can write into that, or they have
I need
to,
to see the documents from Marshall.
okay,
That's the jumping off point.
all right.
Can't you do just like a regular, like everybody else in your job does, you know, you buy into a 401k or whatever? Isn't, you know, and then you just match it, whatever they, let's say they do 10% of their check, can't you just match their 10%?
Excuse me, if somebody speaks from the audience, I need to know who they are for the
Oh,
minutes.
okay, could you just state your name? Tammy Short. Thank you, just so we can put it in the minutes.
I think in theory, yes, and it's all stuff that we have to now look into, because there's legalities and we have to get it exactly right in the wording. If we're gonna have people sign contracts, or if we're gonna have match of anything, it's all stuff that we still have to keep going over. In theory, yes, but without all of it in front of us and knowing the legalities and what we can and can't do, I think we just have to keep talking about it.
I mean, would that be cheaper? Then, I don't know, and then instead of this, instead of what was it, $300,000?
So I'll give you exact numbers. So in the biggest issue behind this is employer retention and actually being able to get officers to want to work here. There are currently 69 departments in the state of Indiana trying to hire people for multiple positions, and that number is going to grow significantly really quickly. So the issue is our pension right now, we are in a civilian perf pension, which is similar to a teacher, or so like we're in the same thing as a street department. However, we're not in the same pension as Portage Police Department, as Porter, Chesterton. So about half the county is split one way and the other way. So at what point am I able to staff a department when there are better things right next door? So how do we continue to maintain an appropriate employment level without being competitive with our neighbors? So that's kind of where it's at. It's not a difference. It's not like, it's a state-run pension, but there's two versions. There's the PERF, and then there's the police and fire pension that's established through the state. So the difference is we currently pay 11.2% of the total salary earned by a police officer plus 6.2% into Social Security as an employer. So it comes out to basically 17.4% of their earnings is what the town pays. In the police and fire pension, we would be paying, because it just changed this year, 19.1% of an established first-class patrolman rate. So we established that rate. It was estimated right now with longevity that right now would be $62,000. So the annual, besides for the buy-in, the annual difference to the town is estimated at $3,800. Certain employees would actually reduce their cost of their pension of what we're paying now, and certain employees would cost a little bit more based on their earnings. So I prepared that document and provided it to the town council. But the big issue for me is like our last hiring process, we had 3 applicants that came in, 1 didn't have the appropriate credentials. 1 of them had issues with his prior employer. We hired the 3rd one and he lasted 12 weeks. So now I'm short another officer. What do I do? We can keep hiring them and trying them, but at the same time, we need to create a situation where this town is attractive to be employed by. Because Portage has 6 officers retiring this year. Porter's gonna lose 3 next year, Cheston's gonna lose 4 next year. At what point in time are they gonna start cherry picking all of our guys and we're gonna have nothing left? That's the problem. And if we start hiring underqualified applicants, the potential litigation of having underqualified police officers out here is greater than any cost of any pension. 1 lawsuit for somebody that's acting outside the confines of the law is going to be way greater than any cost of this pension. So, and the proposal that I originally had was that the cost, which applying our current pension value that we currently have, would reduce that number down to 260,000. From 260,000, the employees were going to contribute 20% of that money. So, which is owned by the employees. So it reduces the number down to 208,000. I know it's a significant amount of money and I'm not discounting that, but at the same time, yeah, that's why we're talking about it. I don't know if you have any more questions or if I skipped over something. Okay, I'm just, at some point in time, I'm like, I just feel like I'm talking a lot, that's all. So.
Jeremy, can I ask you to address the benefit that potential officers see? You've been talking a lot about the cost to the town, but you haven't addressed why would somebody prefer the newer retirement plan over PERF?
So it depends on the contributions. Obviously, there's a lot of difference right now in our current pension. We would have to have, there's 3 ways to build a retirement collect. You either have to have, it's a rule of 85. You either have to have your years of service plus age to equal the number 85 to be able to retire and collect.
Yeah.
So depending on when they got hired, I mean, that math gets pretty long, but the other thing is you get vested in this current pension that we're in right now at 10 years, and you'd be able to collect that money when you hit age 65. If you work 15 years, you can collect that at age 60. And then those benefits are calculated based on what percentage the employee contributes, because we have a mandatory of 3%, but we can also contribute, I believe, an additional 10% to that. So it depends what the employee contributes in that aspect. Plus the contribution that the town has. And that's basically how that benefit works out. Whereas in the police and fire pension, you won't get vested in that pension until you have 20 years of service. Okay, so, but once you have 20 years of service, your pension continues to grow by a rate of 1% every 6 months you work beyond 20 years. So, but at the same time, all of our employees have to be able to reach 20 years of service by the age of 60, mandated by the state.
So the incentive is for them to stay a long time.
Well, correct.
I feel like we retain them more because there's more, it just seems like a better option.
Right, and it's a little bit skewed in an aspect of our current pension. We also contribute to Social Security. When we go to the police and fire pension, we no longer contribute to Social Security. That's how that fund's set up. That's why if you just look at the 11.2 and 19.1, you look at a big gap, but realize that the town is also paying 6.2% into Social Security that we would no longer do.
I used to be in the railroad, and that's how they did it back then, back in the days.
Right. And the other aspect is, I mean, while last year was great and we came within budget and everything else worked out, know that with our pension being calculated off of an established first-class patrolman rate, any overtime, grant hours, or anything else, the town isn't accruing additional liability under the new pension because the rates are set. Whereas under the current pension, we're paying 17.4% of every dollar earned. So if we have a ton of overtime, it's going to increase. So those numbers are based on what you know, we have a 6-month sample, we had to double it just based on when we had to ask for the numbers. And that's how we came up with the number that 3,800 and I think $46 was the difference in the annual operating expense between the old pension and the new pension.
Thank you.
Jeremy?
Shoot,
I have a question. What's your rate for your first class patrolman?
so
And
there's-
where does it compare to the surrounding community?
So the first class patrolman rate that we had established in order to be able to get this amount was roughly 59 and some change. I don't know which document it has on it, plus would be established at $2,000 for longevity because that's what it would be at 20 years of service. That rate, there's a lot of communities though, I can't use Porter as an example. They have a rate of almost $89,000. Okay, so right now, if one of my officers went to Porter, their pension would be based off a rate of $89,000, and that's what they have walking in the door.
Right.
However, there's been a lot of changes to those pensions because they were established at rates that the state determined were unobtainable. So they changed some things to fix that because there were some inequities, let's say, in communities with the pension. So now it has to be an obtainable rank within unpromoted within 20 years. So we have the rate established somewhere right around where our corporal rate would be. But at the same time, if we continue to grow like the way we are, I mean, last few years, we've been getting 3.5% raises. So if that continued to grow, it would still be a viable pension option upon retirement. But at the same time, retention, like I'd hit my 15 years in 4 years. If there's no added incentive, I mean, at 15 years, I could collect at 60, or if I wait for the rule of 85, I could leave at 59. But in 4 years, I could leave the town because there's no incentive for me to stay beyond, hey, I can go get another pension somewhere else. If I want to keep my employees for a longer period of time, this does increase the vestment to 20 years as opposed to as short as 10. I mean, every officer that we have, it takes money to be able to train them, to be able to outfit them, and every time somebody leaves, that money's gone.
Right, well, my question is for the retention part of it, because I'm in the 77 as well, and that's the biggest problem that we have is keeping that retention because of the rate of the first class patrolman in your case would be. So
Right.
unless you keep that rate in well average of everyone else, no, you're still gonna have that big turnover because people are gonna be looking for that bigger top. So that was all I was asking what your rate was compared to the rest of the people around us.
Right, it's not perfect by any means, but at the same time, getting it started is just as important as getting to the finish line.
Okay.
So, I mean, if we never get through the door, I mean, it'll never get to the right spot.
Anybody else? Do you have anything else for your report?
No,
Okay.
good.
Jeremy needs his own meeting.
So I guess the only thing I would add with that is while we are an officer down, as far as staffing levels, in my mind, I think we need to table advertising hiring process until we know what we're advertising for. Because if the employment process drug out, let's say, into the time this pension would kick in, and they wouldn't get hired in time, they may not even be eligible to be employed by us. So that's a concern. So I think at least wait till February to figure out what we're doing, I think would be advantageous. That's all I got.
Thank you. All right, sanitation, Brandon, back to you.
Next me, well, I'm gonna hand the mic to Adam, because he's a man and he knows everything that's going on.
Adam,
Good evening.
it's you. Hello.
How are we doing? Sanitation, everything's flowing. We just finished up with our vegetation inspections today. We did our pump down test with Global on Monday. And we got all of our telemetry on
5, 6, and 1 recalibrated last month. So it's going good. So, we do have a couple hiccups here on a couple of lift stations. We got one of our lift stations intermittently on the 911 center. I was like, let me rephrase that. It's not calling 911, it is an open line from our lift station to the 911 center. And, just in the future, by the way, if you could include me in on those, because then I can get a hold of 911 and find out what's going on and get on that right away. Dealing with phone company with that, and they, right now, them being out here, it's tested fine. So I need to get that going when it occurs. So it's gonna be one of those things. I'm gonna need some equipment, but I'll bring that up in the sanitation meeting next week. So, other than that, I'm gonna go ahead and keep on.
I'd like to say a few things. I know a couple meetings ago, we addressed me as the sanitation superintendent intern, I guess you would say. I feel and respectfully ask if Adam could hold a role, because he is able to, he knows everything. I don't. Everything goes through me and has to go to him, and respectfully, I don't even know my own job yet. I have full 100%. I think he's 100% capable of handling it. Obviously overlooked by his liaison and everything is okay, but just being honest with you guys, I think Adam is a very high important asset to this town, to the sanitation department. We as a street department are there behind sanitation 100%. And always will be.
What role are you asking him to step into?
I guess the boss of sanitation, obviously overlooked by the council, but I just feel that he should run things. He knows it all. He talks to everybody. He works. He's on the field all the time. We can work together and doing things, but I think he's the man. And that's just my personal opinion. I don't know what your guys is. Yeah, I would maybe, if he had tried hiring a part-timer that he would train, and then that way, if he's in town, he's doing sanitation, when he's doing his Gary thing, the other guy will be here, someone will be here, and obviously the street department will be here all the time to assist with anything, but I feel as if he's the guy that we need to go to for the sanitation. Like I got a lot on my plate. I also got MS4 coming. I'm okay with being there for MS4, learning how the town's going. He's a part of it too. And that's my honest thoughts about it. I don't know how we can go about that. I do believe he should possibly have a town email or be in the mix with everything sanitation wise.
Do you feel comfortable with everything he's saying? Do you agree?
Yes, ma'am, I do.
Right.
Can I ask why, I'm starting to get a little concerned here, why, do we have job descriptions for all of these positions here?
Yes.
I mean, we're just.
It's gotten a little messy with
Yeah.
with
With
the
the
change, with the changeover from having from losing Bill Army in that position, a lot of people have just kind of gone and fill in
Yeah,
and.
typically when you have a vacancy or you want to fill one, you would have a job description that you would advertise and.
According to our ordinances, there's job descriptions are supposed to be on file with the director's office.
Yeah.
We do have-
It is an outdated job description that was not recently updated with the most recent request to have that. So I don't know how old the one is that we have, now, but it's definitely. That is,
You can take a look at that.
Well, like I said,
We
the
have-
street department is 100% backing the sanitation. now Andy's coming in, he's also had some training due to some of all the work we've done on the station. We'll be there 100%. I mean,
I think what the problem is, in the past, the town had all their eggs in one, like, put their eggs in one basket, so like, Bill did multiple jobs.
Yeah.
And so Brandon took on an extra job.
I just feel that he just outdoes me with the sanitation, he knows the ins and outs, basically. And,
Yeah, I think we would be wise to go back to that model of deciding what we want that position to do. And then, advertising and interviewing for that.
so that'd be an interview as in like a sanitation lead or,
Yeah, well, we have to look at the job description and see what it is we're tasking that person to do.
okay.
So I don't know if that would be the sanitation people that do that, would that be done?
For the job description?
Yeah.
I mean, it has to be, I guess
Let
at
you
this
know
point,
what
it
you
would,
do
at this point, it would have to
for the
be.
job description, if you could. What you think the job description would be, if it is that outdated, the one that we have, you guys work obviously in it and know what needs to be done.
That's this man right here, he knows everything that needs to be done.
That's fine, if I could see the old one and we can update it, that'd be great.
Can we do
But
that?
as-
Let's pull it, have somebody look at it. I don't know if it would be us or the sanitation department.
We can do it, now and then we can sit down and look at it.
All right.
We get together with Adam. I mean, it's not a big board.
Okay,
with 390.
yeah, we need to move back to that one.
We'll look at it and
So you're asking for Adam to take over sanitation interim for now? What you're
I think
asking?
he's the man because I really think that I'm just in the way. I mean, I know some things, I can communicate well and whatever, but he knows it all, and I just, in my heart, believe that,
Yeah, I'm okay with that until we get the,
you know, and,
get the things put into place.
yeah, and like I said, we'll be there to help 100% like we have been.
I think the decision was that Brennan is here all day, every day.
Right,
And to give, when there's an emergency call out and your part-timer is at his full-time job somewhere else, who's gonna make that call?
that was when we first had
Yeah,
this
we would still
discussion.
get called out, street department would still get called
That
out
was a
for those
concern.
emergencies. Because for those calls, basically. But as it was before when he was training another guy, that guy was here all day, and then when he wasn't, Adam was here, there was always a sanitation guy
Mhm.
in town. And then obviously we're here,
And right now, we're just down to Adam and then you guys.
yeah. But I know,
And maybe we determine that there needs to be somebody else.
So as a superintendent, and if we make Adam interim superintendent for sanitation, you guys help cover each other when Adam's not
that's,
available?
we've
Like,
always
is
done
that what
that,
we're-
I've been doing it since I started here.
Okay,
I mean, yeah, Bill, you know, we've always assisted him anytime, calling out, doing more, it doesn't matter, we're there.
I'd like to make a motion that we make Adam interim superintendent and that he works with this council or with whoever to go over and create a job description for that job. And then once we convey that and get it corrected, because like you said before, this job was split between a fire chief and a sanitation person. But now at least we got somebody to go to, and also too, part of that would be giving him the way to try and find somebody else that he can start training to, so we don't have this issue that when he's on his other job, we have another person here. My biggest concern is that Brandon has got his hands full right now, but also too, he's learned a little bit from Adam. But Adam has been working with Bill for quite a long time, and at least we know that we've got somebody in line right now that if he doesn't do it, and we don't have anybody, where do we go? Where does this town go when we've got a situation with one of our
I mean, yes, Brandon can go out there, he's got a little bit of this already, we've already had a couple emergency calls where they've handled it. But at least that way we're going in the right direction, I feel.
And so what was the motion?
I'm sorry, the motion is, the motion itself is saying that Adam Friday be put in as intern superintendent of the sanitation department.
I'll second it.
Any discussion?
I think we.
I don't know what they're gonna be paid. I don't know how many hours they're gonna be required to work. I need all that
So-
information
It would still be part-time.
and when it would start.
Right, if we could,
Um,
you don't mind, just until we actually sit down and talk and get the job description laid out and everything else, let's just keep everything for sure until that.
At least it's in the works.
could we keep his
Rolling.
pay the same and hours work the same? Like whatever.
I don't know how many hours worked he's authorized to do. His timesheet's different every time he sends it in. So you guys need to give some parameters
Then
on
we'll
what
have
you're
to,
expecting to
yeah,
do.
we'll have to
What you're
look
expecting
over.
that to be.
21 hours a week is what I've been averaging. I can up that up to,
So we could do it the same as we did, as we have with Brian, 20 to 30 hours.
Cannot do 30 hours.
Or
30 if they offer them insurance, so
20 to 25. And the pay scale would be.
what he's making now.
what is, yeah.
So the ball's rolling.
I said, let's keep, just stay base right now until we.
So you're at part-time salary,
And
part-time pay right now, Adam?
I'm okay with it for now. Yes, I got concessions, but I'm okay with it for now. So let's get the logistics out of the way. And then once we have a clear understanding of the job description and so forth, and then
Come
we
to a final pay.
okay.
So I amend the motion to put him as interim up to 20 to 25 hours a week at the present pay that he's at right now. And you re-second it, Kurt?
You have another second?
Yeah, so
Any other discussion?
I have a question for Clay. Clay, how would we go about changing things? So going from having a street department to having a public works. So that way all of these jobs get encompassed in one.
You probably have to change town code, because I'm sure there's references in town code to both department heads. So I think we'd have to look at that, we have to look at salary ordinances, we'd have to look at the budgets. If you're putting what it sounds like you're two departments now under one department.
Yeah, that would help like streamline maintenance in different departments, it would help to streamline sanitation, park maintenance, street maintenance, all kinds of different things, so. I would definitely like to work with somebody to look at that and have that. High five,
well,
I'm
we
in.
can have a subcommittee, I believe, they're called,
Okay, sounds good.
and look all that stuff up.
Okay,
I believe somebody has the town code.
She's busy. we're leaving her
So,
alone. She's busy.
The door's closed. The door's closed, you can't pop it.
No, we'll lean in when we need to.
It's on the website.
Okay.
Can we get a roll call, please?
Councilmember Grau?
Was that my name? I'm sorry.
Yes.
Yes.
Councilmember Grau?
Yes.
Councilwoman Bozak?
Yes.
Councilwoman Drake?
Yes.
Councilman Jordan?
Yes.
Councilwoman McCarthy?
Yes. All right, anything else? Transportation. Are we still really way up there?
Sure.
We're still way up there on the agenda, guys, sorry.
Moving on. For stormwater, we gotta meet, what days? That's the mention.
That was supposed to be next week.
Yeah,
We had to give you a final day,
So we got a meeting with Shem about MS4 and everything that includes that.
Okay,
And as far as I know, we're ahead of the game right now. So just waiting on further meeting with Shem to
look at our outfalls and all our piping throughout town and everything else.
Okay.
Actually, I personally made a phone call, there was a board member that asked me to follow up on MS4, I did, I contacted Shem, he had just gotten back from vacation. He, just like Brandon is confirming, he said we are ahead of schedule A and B reports, which are the 2 reports that we have to complete for the annual report. Everything's looking good for that. And I told him that I'm leaving on vacation this Sunday, so they're gonna go ahead and get together and find out the parameters. And when I get back, Shem will be getting together with all of us to go over whatever is left with the plan A and B. And then the other thing was the paving grant that he talked about, but I'm not gonna bring that up in this meeting, we have enough to do at this point.
Could you just shoot me when you're meeting with him?
Yeah, I'll give you the date.
Or
Yeah,
yeah,
don't do
shoot
that.
me.
I'm not
I
gonna
mean,
shoot
don't
you down.
shoot me.
I will-
Can you like send me an
I will
email?
send you an email.
Is that this Thursday?
I don't have an exact date yet, I was, until, that was on my list of calls to do tomorrow.
If it can be done before this, I mean, this week, I'll be glad to attend it if I can, I mean, I'm available this week, but after Sunday, it's still at least for 2 weeks.
Understood, enjoy your vacation, if that's.
We're done.
Okay. Each department is gonna have their own meeting. Park board.
I will keep it, I will keep my report short. We're continuing to maintain the park, servicing all the equipment to get it ready for the upcoming season. And we're continuing to rent the arts and crafts building. It's been really good. That's it, that's all I got.
I really do, like, there's a day that I need, I need to call him, I've been thinking about it, I know. RDC?
So for RDC, we got this beautiful $5 million big check over here for Next Level Trails. So this will help us fund the section of trail, the Westport section, where now we have this little landing strip and then this faraway connection. We're gonna connect them.
What are we waiting on for the connection? I mean, is that what we're waiting on?
That's what we were waiting
Oh, I
on, is
didn't know
money,
we
and then
were
we
waiting
have
on
some.
BP and all that.
We've been trying to get money for a long time to help fund that project, and with all of the things that happened in the last year with the developer pulling out of there. This is super awesome, it's super exciting, I'm very excited for that. We also got a Safe Streets grant, which I did not write down that amount and I can't think of it off the top of my head. Do you remember what it was, Jane? Sorry. And that is for us to. $176,000, and that is for us to work on evaluating the connectivity in the town. So, you know, we can work on, you know, different safe ways to get across from, such as Corwin's Landing across to the other side where the Prairie Duneland Trail is there, easy access across 20 and things like that, which maybe one day will happen. And then Shirley Hines got a grant that we are partnered with them with for the kayak launch that's happening right back in here. So in the spring, we'll all go kayaking together. So RDC is moving along, lots of tree clearing and moving going on back there. We're also working on some things with the phase that will happen after Westport, which is that phase 1A, which is the back section that will go all the way back to the national park. So finally seeing some good movement there. Exciting. That's all I have.
All right, shared ethics, we
need people.
We need people. Okay, ready now?
People.
For what?
What does that entail?
The shared ethics.
You don't want me on that.
They how often do they meet, Jane? Quarterly, monthly? How often do they talk? Do they have?
So the position that Joan, who recently resigned from because she's moving out of town, has to be a town resident, cannot be a town employee, cannot be a town board member, cannot be an elected official. That can be the only seat they serve, and they meet every other month. I believe they meet in the morning though, 9-ish, I'm guessing at that time, but I feel like it's in the morning. during work days, because I feel like Joan had to contacted me about getting work permission to attend it. The other position that Jeremy currently holds, that it would be nice to have more than one person in that position, was the trainers. They should be town employees, to do peer-to-peer training. The Shared Ethics Commission will prepare the training materials, the case studies, those types of things, and they'll just ask that the trainers help present that to our other employees, periodically.
Could we reach out to some of our employees
We
here?
sent,
Oh,
I
yeah,
sent
that
it,
email.
yeah,
Did
I
you
sent
have
it
any
in
responses?
I did not. I sent it to our department heads and asked them to please ask their staff if they'd be interested. But I just sent it this week because you guys just spoke about it
Yeah.
like a week ago, right? So I think I sent it maybe Monday.
I remember seeing an email.
Yeah, and so I have not heard back yet from anyone in
Something more,
particular.
can you like send maybe some like more, like a better description on what that entails? I don't really recall what the email.
I just,
yeah,
So-
so they'll provide the material.
they'll provide the materials and you would prepare, so the trainers would then have a group of employees sit together and talk about the training materials that are already provided. And then they would do case studies to discuss, so-and-so, took wood from the park department. Is this ethical? What do you think about this? Let's talk about this and discuss it.
Yeah.
And I'm throwing that out as a very
Right.
simplistic explanation, yes. So I know that the last time we had an employee training of this kind, Chesterton is also a member, some of the other local neighborhood communities are, and they presented something and invited our staff to go and train. So it's not like we would have to do it in-house all on our own. We could connect with other communities and see if they had a plan and see if we couldn't do it as a shared effort.
What happens if it doesn't happen?
We are all unethical.
Oh, my.
I'm,
Anybody interested in
they're
being a
just
trainer?
asking and they just encourage.
Pending, I just no decisions now. Yeah.
Doesn't have to be right away. Think
Okay,
about it.
Think about it.
Sleep on it. I'll put you down tomorrow.
Maybe Jeremy can tell you how cool it is, I don't know. But we need a resident as well, as,
That doesn't serve on any other, any other capacity and can attend those meetings during the day,
that is correct.
every other month.
And then they would just report to us. And a lot of people work during the day, so it's hard to do day stuff. Alright. We are moving on, correspondence.
Somebody usually reads those, anyone who would like to.
I'm not sure about it.
Yeah, somebody gave it to me, and so I have a big list.
No, so you just read the correspondence, those
Sorry.
4 or 5 lines
Yeah,
right there.
just right here.
I have it. Item, notice of public comment, Part 70, operating permit for Montisol LLC, Porter County. The second one is IDAM, Office of Water Quality Notice of Decision to issue a modification permit for Cleveland Cliffs Burns Harbor LLC. I saw that in the paper.
Well, it's right there.
IDEM, the third one is IDEM Notice of Approval, Air Permit TV Significant Source Modification, in parentheses, minor PSD/EO, close parentheses, for Cleveland Cliffs Burns Harbor LLC.
And then the last one.
And the last one is Westchester Neighbors Food Pantry with a thank you for the generous donation.
Good job, Roseanne and Jennifer. Thank you.
Thank you to everybody that donated food, for us to donate to the food pantry. It filled my car. I had no room.
I still wanna look into, I would like to look into at some point, is somebody, micro pantries, they have a micro
They have one
pantry
for-
in
yeah,
Chesterton and one in the town of Porter, would like to, do something like that here in town. I know that the micro pantry that they have goes through specific programs, there's lots of rules and how you have to build these things, so I'm happy to look into that.
You know, the cost of it.
Of the building, a lot of times, which maybe you might have some insight there, the two that are there were actually put in by a Girl Scout who was finishing her final badge, so maybe there's a Boy Scout troop, an Eagle Scout troop that would need to do a project like that, you know, that we could work together on, and, you know, happy to.
I can definitely see if there's,
Get me in touch with somebody.
yeah, absolutely.
About.
Yep. So then there would be no cost, because they would have to build it
Yes,
as their.
final project.
All right. Presentation of resolutions. We have an ordinance. So here.
Oh, sorry.
Can you just read the title?
Yes, it's on
Yes.
second reading, so we just have to read it.
Okay.
Ordinance 321-2023. An ordinance amending the Burns Harbor Stormwater Management Ordinance. Sign here.
We first need a motion and a second to adopt it.
Sorry, do I have a motion?
Make a motion that we accept ordinance 321-2023.
Second. Any discussion? Roll call, please.
Councilwoman Bozak,
Yes.
Councilwoman Drapes,
Yes.
Councilman Jordan,
Yes.
Councilman McGraw,
Yes.
Councilwoman McCarthy.
Yes.
Jane, does it matter to you?
I'm back Friday. I'm trying to figure out what dates.
2024, that's the number for the ordinance.
I would recommend, since it was advertised the first time for a public
Yeah, I
hearing and it was adopted on first reading with that number, I would keep it at that
Okay,
number.
that's fine with me, I didn't
If
know
you're,
that.
yeah, if you're good with it.
Because ours, we have a public
I
hearing.
didn't think about
I'll have
that
to read it,
either.
like, it's gotta read it,
Yeah.
You know, so that way I get more people.
I did change the date to being
It's- it
adopted
can be
today.
Okay.
We've had that happen before and it just, so that there's no confusion in the future if people are reading minutes and wondering.
I'm fine with it, I just wanted to point that out.
Okay, thank you.
All right, we have moved on to new business. I'll start with our staff anniversary for Jeremy, 11 years.
There you go, Jeremy. How many more? 17?
To be determined.
Okay.
Can I jump back up to RDC? Sorry,
Oh.
I have to do something and it's important.
Yes, go ahead.
We reorganized the RDC today at our meeting, and due to changes in the law, we were
That's on
only
the
able.
agenda.
Yeah.
It's on the agenda later on.
Oh, sorry.
Never mind.
Oh, you're number 9. You have to wait till number 9. I'm gonna go back to number 2.
Sorry.
2024 insurance renewal terms. So it's time to renew the town employees' health insurance. I know it was, there was mention of, it has went up 10%. We've, but our town employees got a 3.5% raise. And so right now, the town pays 90% and employees pay 10%. There was some question on whether we wanted to change the amount we kick in to help make up for the 3.5% raise and the 10% increase in health insurance. Did I cover it? Let's see. But the benefits haven't changed, like everything's the same plan,
It's just the increase in
just
cost,
the increase in cost,
like everything else.
like everything else.
I make a motion that we keep it the same way, currently 90% town and 10% employees. The employees that I did speak to about this when this email came out, It'd be a burden to put more onto them. I mean, I don't know all the numbers, I'm still learning all of that as I came as a new council person.
Can we get a second before we go to?
Oh, I'm sorry. I'll second it for discussion.
Thank you.
I'm getting used to how this process
That's all
goes.
right.
Sorry.
I was letting you go, okay.
All right, I'll back it up and just say I make a motion that we keep the same way, 90% town and 10%.
Well, I wasn't trying to, like, we weren't trying to put more burden on the employees. Trying to take some of the burden off of the employees.
Great.
That's what I'm saying. Okay. Any other discussion?
It is unfortunate, and correct me if I'm wrong, the insurance returns include other insurance besides health insurance, is that correct?
Yes, the town pays the 100% of the employees' dental, vision, life, short-term and long-term disability policies. It's just through a different vendor than their health insurance. So this 90-10% health insurance plan, or this 90-10 split is solely for their health insurance plan.
Yeah, it's unfortunate that health insurance seems to be going up at double digits every year, and that's just amazing to me. When I actually had a job, our entire phrase was consumed by the increase in health insurance. We had a much worse fraction to cover than a 90-10. It was, yeah, so basically for probably about the last 10 years, never really got a raise.
Yeah.
And so that's unfortunate, but that it is going up. I appreciate the concern of the employees looking at that 10%, but it is 10% of 10%. Am I correct? Saying that? Yeah. And so it is not as if they're covering the entire increase. So I guess I thought I would just throw that out there.
Roll call. Councilwoman Draves?
Yes.
Councilman Jordan?
Yes.
Councilman McGraw?
Yes.
Councilwoman Bozak?
Yes.
Councilwoman McCarr?
No. All right, 2024 fire service contract. Jane had sent out their contract to us. From my understanding, there's been no change for quite a few years, is that correct?
I apologize, I can't
I'm sorry.
speak to when the last time there was an increase. I apologize, I know it was
Okay.
not from last year to this year. I think it was not from the year before, like 22 to 23, but without looking, I'm sorry, I didn't look.
No, that's okay. I guess the only thing I feel like we need to add something, where we can, where they have to share financial documentation with us about what they're doing. So, like for during the term of the contract, there's wording in a contract that we found from another town that I would like to see added to this contract before we renew it. I don't know if you've had a chance to look at it.
To make an amendment to it, basically.
Yeah.
What do you think about this number?
What number? Are we talking about the contract with the Burns Harbor Fire
Yes,
Corporation?
yes. What's your opinion?
I think it should be quadrupled.
Okay.
You can have your opinion back. I'm just kidding.
I'm not.
Yeah, I mean, yeah.
You guys,
Yeah, I can,
I've never looked at that number and discussed, thinking that, oh my God, my guys are well too compensated. But I can say that what we get out of these guys is way more than what the town's paying for.
And so make a recommendation,
My
reasonable recommendation.
Without beating anybody up or without going over numbers 100%, because they're not right in front of me right now.
Yeah.
The numbers that I do have in front of me are the ones I give you in the end of the year report. The end of the year report shows you the breakdown of what the guys have put in and committed. And I want to tell you that the majority of it is 100% volunteer. Minus the small stipend that they get at the end of the year in the $62,000 contract to the incorporation.
How is it compared to other, like that amount compared to other?
Based on other communities, so we're surrounded by towns, cities, and unincorporated townships. I can tell you right now, the unincorporated townships don't see anything like that. And that's been a great appeal for us to recruit. Recruiting right now, I can tell you guys that I want to say in 1 year, the state of Indiana went from 18,000 volunteer firefighters and we're down to 13,000 now. This is a significant drop. Nobody wants to do it. So our recruitment, it's an added benefit to be able to say, hey, you guys, at the end of the year, after you fulfill your requirements here under our contract with the town, here's what we can offer you. And what it turns into is like, we're giving you back the gas money it took you just to drive to the fire station for the 25% of the calls that you did make.
Is there, what's the time frame on this? I mean, can we give them a little bit of time to come up with a reasonable suggestion?
I would ask that you speak to Clay about this because the other contract expired on the 31st of December.
So we have no time.
So it would be Clay's, I mean, it's a legal question and I don't feel comfortable answering.
But the payment's not due to them, that $62,750, when is that due, Jane?
December 15th.
So there's time to answer your question, Councilor, of the amount, because the payment, even if you just entered into the same contract and just changed the dates for this year, conceivably you could come back next month or later early this year and amend that with a higher dollar figure number.
Then can you look at your figures and
Absolutely,
come back to us?
absolutely.
Yeah, I understand it's dangerous work and you know, we want them to.
I mean,
When you wanna retain them, you don't wanna, so if we
But
can, then yes, as long as you.
We're battling other things. I mean, right now there's class action lawsuit against the manufacturers of the foam that we use to fight fires. And it's causing cancers and we've all been exposed to it. So in a volunteer world, it is so difficult for me to ask you to volunteer your time first. Just the time alone is almost impossible to ask anybody these days. But hey, if I give you a hazard list of what you potentially might be short-term, long-term exposures to over your career with the volunteer fire department, you're gonna go, there's no way I would ever want to do that.
So we could add this, we'll add this, and then we'll come back again after we get.
Once we get the numbers and.
Okay. So, has everybody had a chance to, I'm sorry.
Oh, no, I wasn't in May, I just figured I tend to write February next to it.
Has everybody had a chance to look at that? Clay, did you get a chance to look at that?
Does P.
The second paragraph there,
Is this what the?
under P,
Yes, I think I saw that. Well, my suggestion would be, and I don't recall who the liaison is.
Me.
that's what he said.
I would suggest that council president and the liaison sit down with your interim fire chief and maybe even your clerk treasurer and hash out the terms, hash out the finances, and come back next month with the proposed contract.
Is that going to be an issue if the other one terminated on the 31st of December? That there's no contract and we're asking these
Well,
firefighters to still continue to show.
I mean, that's the same thing that we had with me with not
Well, we
renewing
knew
my
you were coming
contract.
back, Clayton.
Well, I know that, but it's still the same thing.
I'll tell you guys right now, that they are not going anywhere.
Yeah. And.
So the month that we have
We're fine.
between, okay,
Yeah, we're gonna get it done.
I suppose you can renew the exact same contract that expired and just change the dates. And then come back and, if that's the big concern, and then come back next month and amend it with additional requirements, perhaps on both sides. And a higher dollar figure.
I just wanted everybody to be comfortable because it technically expired, so I wanted everyone to, and you are the
You're-
legal person, right?
I agree with you, you're technically, walking on the wire without a net.
Right? I just want everybody to be comfortable that, February's, we want them to show up.
Sure.
As long as you can make sure people show up still, that we're working on it.
Cause I'm not sure if he's even seen, has he seen this?
I'm not sure. Did you see
Is this?
what I'd like added, or what we'd like added?
I have not seen.
Okay, so we can show it to them.
Yeah, it would be a good idea.
Mhm.
Let me see. I don't think it's an onerous requirement, just budgeting, like reports like everybody else has to provide.
Yeah.
so then we're just gonna,
We'll have a meeting
And then-
prior to February's.
and then we'll
Council
talk about it
meeting.
at next meeting, okay? We are in agreement, we're good with that?
Yeah, absolutely. I would just like to make it clear that the incorporation body should be part of it also. We have our own board for the incorporation. So if we're gonna discuss terms and contract with the
I
incorp,
agree.
Okay.
Oh, that, yep. I guess, who wants to set the date?
Does that
Can we figure out a consensus on a date
Once a
and,
month, we do meet that,
yeah, when do you guys meet next for that?
because then maybe they can just attend.
Cause then can we just all
Oh, there you go.
come
Our important meeting will be February 7th.
and our
Okay.
next meeting is February 14th, right?
Right, but keep in mind, we can get the board together anytime.
we can.
I would like to have something, I'm sorry, Chief, you went. I apologize.
Adam,
I'm the Incorp president,
Okay,
so with that being said, I'd like to sit down with the Incorp, have something at least close to concrete to present to the membership before then. So if you're okay with either, it doesn't have to be on a Wednesday.
No, it doesn't.
no,
So-
just,
Just before next meeting.
yeah, just
Okay, yeah,
before,
before our February 7th meeting, yeah, that's fine, so just, what are y'all thinking?
Oh, my word. Okay, in the I prefer evening,
Correct.
I mean.
the last week, the 29th, 30th, 31st, you wanna go that week or you wanna go the week before?
We can do, 31st, if it's Wednesday, let's not do that, let's do 29th.
What time?
I gave you the date, you did it.
What time, I mean, 6, 5, I don't know what time works for everybody.
Six works for me.
6 works for me.
6? Okay,
So you can do that.
Well, it's in the evening. I'm off.
But this is a
FYI,
contract
that's a no school
negotiation
day
and the
for
whole
anyone.
board attended
The
the
29th?
executive session.
yeah.
FYI, it's my son's birthday.
Well, it's,
So-
and we don't have school that day either, it's a teacher work day.
I'd have to look at the state code to
I mean, if they're
confirm
gonna
that.
pound stuff out, is it just the
That's
whole
why
council
my
wanna be
initial
involved?
suggestion was the council president and the fire department liaison. So we did not have a quorum
Mhm.
or open door issue.
Yeah, I'm okay with that. Trust you guys.
We would of course approve it in a public meeting on February 14th.
And we'd have all the paperwork and everything that goes with
Yeah.
it. That meeting would be there or here?
I'm okay with either one.
It doesn't matter.
We can have it over there, we got a big room like this.
I was there, I saw it, so yes.
So when was that time?
The 29th at 6 P.M. and we agreed on the fire station.
All right, number 4, 2024 engineering service contract. I know the or at least on sanitation side, we saw the engineering contract and approved it. I'm assuming it was the same for storm. Do we need to?
Is there a motion need to be done for that contract?
Yes.
I make a motion that we accept the engineering service contract for 2024.
Second.
And which one at a time or all of them? We have two. We have a stormwater one and we have a town one. The sanitation board goes into their own contract, but the town pays for stormwater and town. So are these one at a time or both contracts together?
Amended to both contracts together.
Second.
Any discussion? Roll call?
And you're authorizing Jennifer to sign them?
Yes.
Councilwoman Bozak,
Yes.
Councilwoman Draves,
Yes.
Councilman Jordan,
Yes.
Councilman McGraw,
Yes.
Councilwoman McCart.
Yes. 2024 financial advisor service contract.
That came today, so if you guys do not have an opportunity to see it, we can sit on it. I don't see anything in the near future on the town side needing them anytime soon, so it could certainly wait. I don't know if the RDC has any plans to reach out to the financial advisor on their behalf anytime soon either.
Not anytime soon, we can definitely table it soon, if I get back to work.
February.
All right,
Number 6 is completed.
yeah, we still do number 6, we've already filled
Yeah, we did.
that.
Still looking for a part-time cleaning employee.
Oh, I'm sorry.
And Jeremy put together, Jeremy and Michelle put together a job description so you guys could go out for interviews. So we've been waiting because we're doing a lot of our own cleaning ourselves in addition to our other duties. I know,
So
and then
Jeremy,
it's terrible. It's horrible.
Cleaning.
I think a long time ago, we got the job description from
Yes.
Michelle.
Does that include hours and pay rate and all that too? Was that discussed in that?
It would not be discussed in the job
Well, I mean,
Yeah.
The council will make
outside
that
that,
decision,
yeah, I
right?
think that's what we're
I
waiting
think
on.
we,
I would table this because most of us haven't seen it. I mean, a couple people put it together. It would be nice for us to be able to read it and see what it's.
We've been without a cleaning service for over a year.
I know.
Clean here,
And
correct?
so,
The
yes,
whole-
and
the whole
so the
building.
staff is
Staff has
doing
been
it.
doing it. Jeremy has doing it unbelievably.
The last people who did it no longer do it, or?
The last people who do it were terminated.
So it's very difficult as a government body to hire a cleaning service outside of like being a town employee, because there's a lot of rule, we can't pay in advance. A lot of people for cleaning services want you to pay in advance. We can't pay via credit card. They want to pay, a credit card on file. So there's a lot of things there that can't happen. So what we want to do is hire somebody to work for the town to do that.
Oh, that would be their, okay.
That would be their job, or would that be their job in addition to other jobs that Brandon has, or would it just be somebody that you want to come once a week to clean, twice a week to clean? Like what, are we still looking, what exactly are, we just want somebody to come.
And that just encompasses the building.
No, it includes the building department as
Yeah,
well.
the street department also, bathrooms are there, or you can.
But I mean,
clean
is that
that.
what, you're looking for, somebody that would come in 1 or 2 days a week and do the
Just
bathrooms
depends on
and
how
all
many
of that?
hours we okay it for, that's kind of what we're waiting on. We have the job description, just waiting on, you guys to make a decision on pay and hours. Everybody gave a rough estimate how many hours it takes to approximately clean their.
It's just, it's different if ideally you want somebody to be here every day to clean, or if you want somebody that's gonna be able to pop in on a Tuesday and a Friday, to clean, whereas you still have to do your own dishes and you still have to wipe the coffee off the
Right.
counter and, the cleaning
And
person
then
is
will it
just
be
coming
like
in.
after hours, will it be, depending on what department doing what.
The the job description also included doing windows in the spring and in the fall, like, there would be other duties just other
Yeah.
than just wiping down the countertops and taking out the trash. It was a truly, let's clean. You do windows twice a year at least, you do other duties quarterly.
Right.
You take out the trash and clean things down once, twice a week, bathrooms get cleaned, you know, at least once a week.
Basically, it's a janitor's job.
Yeah.
Basically.
That's what we need to find.
My maintenance guy in my office when got his hours cut, so that's just what I was thinking, if it's 2 days.
So is this something that we need to come back to?
Well, I guess we need to know a salary or whatever we're gonna pay them hourly, not salary. And the amount of hours exactly and how many days.
That's not in the job description right now, it's been created.
Hours and salaries are not
Yeah,
job
it's not in
descriptions.
there.
No, they won't
Yeah.
tell you that until you,
No, that's something that we would.
And
set.
so
Yeah.
how long did it take the old cleaning service to do the job?
Depend on if somebody was here watching or not. Seriously,
Or if they even came.
right.
So
Yeah.
just,
It was a problem that they said they were here, they weren't here, we don't know how long they were here. They'd always come at night.
Yeah, I met one of the guys when I first started, and he seemed a little. I don't know, I don't know.
Yes, sir.
So,
I think that if it was a thorough job, it would not take more than 2 days to do both buildings. And that's probably being generous.
did you have your hand up?
I was just gonna add that in addition to a job description that was created, there were expectation lists for each department and area that were created by each department. Those, I'm sure Michelle still has them, Jane may be able to find them, but we've already done all that work. Figuring out how much time it actually takes, I have no idea. But all that legwork has already been done by Lori and Jane and Corinne and Michelle, like it's there.
What can I do?
It's just a matter of you guys taking that data and determining what we can afford. I mean, we were budgeted for a cleaning service. I don't know how much that amount is. I think that would obviously play a part into how many hours we'd be able to staff a person. Because there's existing budget constraints for every department.
do you know how much we paid the other company?
Not off the top of my head, but I could certainly send that to you guys. It was considerable amount of money.
Okay.
It was a private company, so it was, I can get that number to you.
I apologize, it's been a while since I've looked at pay scale for the street department. What is the lowest, like starting out? Do you know off the top of your head?
When you're looking at clerk position, it was 13. If you're looking at part-time laborer, it was 17, does that sound right? 16, 17, I think it's 17. I don't, sorry, I don't have it in front of me.
Yeah.
It's in my office,
Okay.
somewhere around there, 17, something like that.
Huh? I think that that's where we would want to, start that pay scale out, is that wherever like a labor, would,
would agree.
would start. So whether,
So starting at 17 and saying it's,
if that's
Yeah,
where,
I'm sure that's where.
I
he's
thought
going,
that's where he's going to, if that's where the ordinance is, like whatever, not, it's obviously not a clerk job or, it would definitely be a labor position. So I would think that we're, starting there.
Absolutely.
you think 10 hours encompasses it, like it would be enough?
Well,
Or would you do 12, would you do?
well, certain, so the duties and descriptions were, certain days or certain time, like every day you clear trash cans and you do certain things, but then maybe monthly you do a little more duty, and then quarterly you do certain tasks that you didn't do the rest of the time, and of course, windows at least twice a year. And so seasonally, it could vary.
Okay.
I can't tell you how many square feet that they have down in the street and buildings department that they're covering, but you can see the size of our building. So Right. And I don't know if it would make a difference if you started it off at a certain number and then decided it needed to be increased later. Or if you'd rather be set in stone what it's gonna be.
I think it should be, they should start out and see what it's averaging to do. I mean, it's not.
Yeah, like I don't, I don't wanna come out the gate like right here and then you're like,
He's
okay,
like, I can't.
I don't know what I'm gonna do, yeah, like at hour 6, you're like, well, I guess I could dump the garbage again, Like, I mean, I'm sure there's plenty of other things to do, but.
Yeah, let's say we don't have enough for 10 hours of cleaning, there is other things that we could have them.
There's
I'm
definitely.
sure there's other
There's 10
things that
hours
we
of
could
cleaning
have them
between these
do.
buildings. You got floors that need to be mopped, you got rugs that need to be vacuumed.
Mhm.
There's a lot of dusting that needs to be going on. So yeah, there's easily, I would say 10 to 20 hours. That's what I would put it out at right now, see what it comes in.
There's not 20 hours a week. to
No,
put
no,
up two
I didn't
buildings.
mean, I meant. Okay, a cap of whatever, okay.
But could we do 12 to 15, and if it's less, then we break it down more, or?
Jeremy, what are your thoughts on how attractive is this position?
I think we should take the expectation list from each department, figure out how many hours that was estimated, add it up, we'll have an idea. Maybe add 1 to 2 hours for extra things that aren't regularly done. And know that on some weeks, things are gonna be worse than others. So that when they have to spend a little bit more time mopping the hallway or whatever it is, that they have that ability to be able to do that and they can concentrate their time effectively. But I think the expectation list lays it out. Otherwise, we're just throwing numbers out.
Yeah.
Cause I'm not gonna have somebody come in and wash my dishes at my police department. My people are gonna wash their own dishes.
Yeah.
Like, there's certain things that
Right.
we want
Yeah,
them to
there's
do.
certain things that you wouldn't expect.
And there's other things, like, I don't need somebody mopping my
Surprised what
office
people
every week.
expect and think that the cleaning company's gonna come do for them.
But along with that, there were specific guidelines, like the clerk treasurer is not gonna allow unlimited access to her office. I'm not gonna allow unattended access to my police department. No way. It's not happening like it used to.
Yeah, so we're not looking for evening, we're looking.
Well, I think a lot of this stuff could be done in the evening. I mean, the common area of town hall, it's not a problem, but if you want access to restricted areas, you're gonna have to do it under supervision.
Alright, so we'll come back in February. Conflict of interest disclosures, we need to.
Let anything out.
Let anything out, any conflict of interest, and that needs to be filed, with the county.
You need to state it in a public meeting.
Yes.
I could have a perceived conflict of interest because my husband is on town council. I have completed the state required form. I will file it with the clerk's office at the county courthouse, and I will file it with State Board of Accounts before your next meeting. Councilman Jordan has a conflict of interest because he is married to the co-treasurer. He has completed the state forms, and I will file it at the county courthouse and with State Board of Accounts before the next meeting.
I have a conflict of interest as I am married to Jeremy. And I will do the same paperwork and get it filed like I have done in previous years.
Should I disclose my conflicts of interest? But I don't think I have to file paperwork.
What do you think your conflicts are?
Aiden?
Well, because my son works at the
I
park.
I do have to file that paperwork.
Oh, that paperwork, that one I did.
I guess
With
I would.
Andy, I don't have to say anything about Andy, right? Because there's no,
No.
and then, yeah, so just Andy, my son works for the park.
Do we have, should I do my son too, even though he's usually only a summer?
Yeah, if he's compensated.
Yeah.
Yes, okay, so my son also works for the park. I guess in the past I waited till he started working again, but yes.
Yes, they certainly could have announced that when he started working in the summer.
I think I did like the month before he started working, but yes, so I'll get that out of the way and I will file that paperwork. At the same time.
thought that's what it was that we looked at, but I'm happy to say it out loud.
Jane, does the conflict, does that include, in-laws as well?
Yes.
I thought, yeah.
Okay, my father-in-law is also the maintenance guy.
Anybody else's family work for the town?
Small town living.
I guess I have a conflict of interest with my sister also being on the park board.
No,
I think
No?
This,
Okay.
this is just
Just
for
elected
elected
officials.
officials.
Yeah.
So
Got
just
it.
these-
Thank you.
Just these six
Thanks for
people right
sharing.
here.
Okay. I might have one other with the RDC. My son does work for Norfolk. So I don't know.
And again, it's just for elected officials, these six people sitting
Just
to my right.
All right, trash contract for 2024. Demetros, from the company is requesting a meeting to discuss the contract ending, the extension ending in December. It ended, I guess.
Yeah, I gave Clay a copy, well, all of you a copy of the contract that was signed. And so I'll let Clay speak to that. The base of the contract ended in December 31st of 2023. And then.
So much like the fire contract, the prior council did not renew their garbage waste service contract with Republic before the end of the year, so we're flying without a net on this one as well. And so to continue, there needs to be a written mutual agreement between the town and Republic Services for calendar year 2024. Based on the prior contracts, if the town did exercise that option for Summers year 3, it'd be $20.26 per unit. So I would suggest that the council president and one other council member and the clerk treasurer get with as soon as possible to essentially, I don't think there's a negotiation where you either remove the contract by mutual agreement pursuant to the terms of the prior agreements for this extension, or you don't have trash service.
Anybody want to have a meeting?
And it doesn't have to be anybody else, but basically, I mean, your options are
This.
accept
These
the
are our
terms that
rates.
were agreed to by a prior council under, these dates and these rates. Or they're probably gonna stop picking up your trash.
Hey, Brandon. You got this,
Oh, I'm sorry.
picking up the trash.
Oh. He's like, wait, what? I didn't know what. All hard. We use it as a whole space.
You guys wanna buy a garbage truck?
So I'm not sure if
Yeah,
Jane's
I know.
looking for, if Jane is looking for a motion, second, a vote to authorize the council president to sign an agreement to extend this.
There was some conversation back and forth with myself and Mr. Mitros about the terms of the contract. Earlier this year, earlier in 2023, the trash company increased your house count by 100 houses. And there was some discussion about their ability to do that. The language of the original contract, because the original contract, I'm sorry, I have it in front of me, I think it was from 2005 or 6. And they've just always just continued to just extend that original contract. Said that we were going to be billed for per unit, per house. There was a house count in it at the time, that we were also going to have 2 large item pickup days a year, that they would pick up the town facilities, so any of the complex garbage cans, we had, language in there for dumpsters, and that also 2 mobile home communities would be collected. They weren't part of the house count, and they never, from the time that contract started, ever billed us for the house count of mobile homes. That was part of the contract, just like the town complex buildings were part of the contract. So sometime this year, they sent us a revised bill for 2 previous months of trash service that we had already paid, with additional expenses for the 100 count, the 100 mobile homes in the community. And so after having multiple conversations with Jim Mitros about that matter, he has now been trying to reach out to me for the past couple of months. And stopped by recently and said if the council agreed to extend this contract, he would, he believes he would be able to convince the company to issue credits for the town for these extra mobile homes that we paid, or at least that's the impression he was leading me to believe. So I feel like before anybody makes a decision, maybe somebody should be sitting down with Jim Mitros to find out what they truly are intending. Because I don't have the authority to prove anything and chose not to meet with them until you guys had an opportunity to discuss it.
Meet with them if anyone wants to meet with us. Wants to meet with Jim and I.
I can't wait to talk about trash.
I already talk a lot of trash, so I'm gonna stay out of there. I don't
Trash and sanitation, I have a lot of meetings.
Do we need
so-
to make a motion authorizing Jen to have that meeting and make it?
Not to have to eat.
We don't
No,
have to
not
have-
yet.
no.
Okay.
We're just gonna table this, I think, until we get more information. Is
That should be.
Yeah.
fair to say?
Take your boxing gloves or.
We'll have-
Like by next meeting, then you guys will have.
Yes.
Now, be aware that there's, because of the time, short time frames involved, there's probably very little that we can do with the, with the absence of quotes from anybody else.
Mhm.
But if we can go in negotiating some of the things that, convince them that we have another quote or something like that, even though we don't, maybe we can get.
For life.
Don't put that in the minutes.
Yeah, for life.
My ship has sailed.
Our first family feud.
Besides Republic, what
Or
other?
something along those lines.
Those are our basic goals.
No, we don't do the three, I believe those are the only three
Yeah,
options.
there's nothing to do about it.
Brandon, so, I mean, I would just say. I can, I mean.
Yeah.
Okay.
I love it.
All right, so come back to that.
Right.
Appoint RDC vice president.
Ooh, we're back to this one.
You finally get your number 9.
All right, so as I was saying earlier, the state code change and the new law requires that the RDC president or vice president, one is appointed by the RDC, one is appointed by the town council. The RDC so nicely, kindly put me in as president for the RDC, and I would like to make a motion to the council to keep Brad Enslin in as the vice president of the RDC.
Who's the second person?
Brad Enslin is the vice president. And it would be, he's already vice president, so it would just be keeping him on there for another year.
Second.
Discussion, roll call please.
Councilwoman Draves?
Yes.
Councilman Jordan?
Yes.
Councilman McGraw?
Yes.
Councilwoman Bozak?
Yes,
Councilwoman McCarthy?
Yes.
and Brad is aware, just so you know. He knew
Everyone-
I was making that motion.
Plan commission meeting times, there's been talk about moving the plan commission up an hour, now they meet at 7. I believe you've already discussed it, and it's okay with your board to meet at 6. So to make it official, do we need to vote on it, or?
There was some discussion about moving other boards too and moving days. And I certainly, I don't know the protocol, I guess I'd leave that to Clay. I've never changed anything in the history I've been here as far as meeting days and
I
times.
recall the RDC used to meet a week before town council, that was 8+ years ago.
Yeah,
I don't know if it's stated in town code when some of these boards meet.
I don't think, other than the council, I don't think it is.
So if it's not in town code, I don't think that you necessarily need to have a vote on it. I mean, it's their meeting if they want to state when their meetings, because sometimes those plan commission meetings are moved for a Monday night because it's Labor Day and they move to the next day. And we don't approve that, not this board, the council doesn't approve that. So I think it just needs to be as a matter, their public notice and they can up the, change the time. Want to give it your blessing, you could do that without. If the council didn't set the date and time for, I don't see why. That, changing it is gonna have an effect.
I guess as president of the planning commission, do you wanna change the date as well? Or just the time for now?
I think without talking to everybody else, I think just the time, but it would be effective in March. I mean, we've already had our January meeting and we already have an established time and date for February, so I believe it'll be the direction that in March we'll begin meeting at 6 p.m.
Number 11, 2023 encumbered purchase orders.
Maybe somebody read those into me.
On the
They're
bottom.
on your second page.
Okay. Are you ready? You have to read the whole thing, the numbers and all of it, right? PO number 3124, Great Lakes LTD, general building, expenditure 1101005392, install gutter de-icers, in the amount of $1,023.72. PO number 3042, McQueen Equipment, General Fire, expenditure number 1101004392, testing service, the amount is $2,198.70. PO number 3043, McQueen Equipment, General Fire, expenditure 1101004392, repair parts, amount $898.38. PO number 3107, Packham Defense, General Police, expenditure number 1101002311, training course, the amount of $795. PO number 3126, LaHaye Wolf Lubricants, MVH Fund, expenditure number 2201006222, drum of HP 15W-40, dollar amount $775.64. PO number 3132, Staples, out of the fund CCD, expenditure number 440200144, 8 chairs in the amount of $1,919.92. PO number 3138, Northwest Indiana Law Enforcement Academy, from the police fund, expenditure 110102391, training course in the amount of $900. PO number 3140, conserve MVH fund, expenditure 22010006237 for treated salt in the amount of $4,120. This one doesn't have, is this part of the same PO, Jane?
Yes.
Okay, also included in that PO 3140, expenditure number 22010006321 for freight in the amount of $540. PO number 3144, Higgins Overhead Door LLC from the CCD fund, 440-200-1444, garage doors and install, in the amount of $57,272. PO number 3157, Circle R Electric, paid from CCD fund, expenditure number 440-200-1444, town hall generator, in the amount of $50,000. PO number 3158, Anton Insurance Agency, from the town fund 110-100-1342, insurance premiums in the amount of $15,204. Same PO from the general town fund, expenditure number 110-100-2342, insurance premiums in the amount of $15,874. Same PO from the town fund, expenditure number 110-100-3342, insurance premiums in the amount of $8,660. From the same PO from the town fund, expenditure number 110-100-4342, insurance premiums in the amount of $17,947. Same PO from the park department fund, expenditure number 220-400-9342, insurance premiums in the amount of $1,286. Do I need to read these totals?
You can if you want,
Okay.
but I think that's the gist of it, unless anybody wants to.
If y'all wanna do math, go for it. Yes.
The one for Circle R for $50,000, is that a check that you paid or will pay? Or where is it stating in that?
So what this is doing is taking the ability to spend 2023's money, that's what an appropriation is, and moving it into the ability to spend it in 2024 without using 2024's dollar monies or ability to spend, because these are things we had ordered and or POs for or contracts for that had not arrived by the end of the year. So they will arrive in 2024 and we can still use 2023's money to do that.
Got it.
You're welcome.
All right, 2023 park non-capital donations.
Those also just need to be read into the minutes.
Is it just the one amount?
Yes.
Okay, so it's $1,516.69.
That's how much money they use for their donation funds, so it needs to be in the minutes.
Okay. 2023 police donations.
$1,888.
Approval of December 2023 financial report.
So moved.
Discussions, or I think it's second.
Second.
Discussion, roll call please.
Councilman Jordan,
Yes.
Councilman McGraw,
Yes.
Councilwoman Bozak,
Yes.
Councilwoman Drees.
Yes.
Councilwoman McCart.
Abstain. Approval of purchase orders submitted in
Agreeing to that?
Oh, yes. Okay, did I skip 15? I did.
Yeah, pay vouchers.
I already check marked it off. Approval of pay vouchers with 3 or more signatures.
So moved.
Second.
Discussion, roll call please.
Councilman McGraw,
Yes.
Councilwoman Bozak,
Yes.
Councilwoman Drees.
Yes.
Councilman Jordan,
Yes.
Councilwoman McCart.
Abstain. Approval of purchase orders submitted with 3 or more signatures.
So moved.
Second.
Discussion, roll call please.
Councilwoman Bozak,
Yes.
Councilwoman Drees.
Yes.
Councilman Jordan,
Yes.
Councilman McGraw,
Yes.
Councilwoman McCart.
Abstain. All right, business, town complex generator status. This was something, a project that Bill was overseeing. I don't know where we stand in this.
I spoke to accounts receivable today because we received an invoice for the generator. They want paid, but it's not here on site. So I told them if they delivered it, we would gladly pay their invoice. And Jeremy spoke to the project manager, I believe, so I would defer to him.
So the follow-up, I got an email yesterday and then another one today, and basically the end of it is They were watching the weather. They said it's a complex installation because they'll be interrupting service on 2 different buildings, which would be town hall as well as the fire department. To replace the transfer switches and then another day on generator install plus natural gas disconnect and hookup. Sorry for what seems like a delayed response, but I have no idea how soon we can get there 3 days in a row. So that's the status of the generator.
Did they say if those 3 days in a row, we would have interrupted service in the buildings? I mean, our staff need electricity to work.
That was the extent of the email. So.
Alright. I got the same, I didn't get that email, but.
It came in at noon today,
The
so.
same kind of waiting for weather, hopefully within the next 2 weeks. But it's a weather related.
Right, I mean, I understand next week is gonna be cold and I wouldn't
Yeah.
expect them to be doing that at that time, and it probably wouldn't be great for our facilities to not have heat or electric, but.
I'm just. The staff, that work in this building with no power. It's going to be challenging for them to work in the building if there's no power and no heat. So, so if, I don't know if the council wants to. Think about what should we be doing with those staff members if we have no power for 6 to 8 hours? I think they initially said 6 hours at least on one particular day.
Correct, that's what I was told.
So I don't know what we need to be doing with the staff. Having them work from home, although they don't have power, they can't remote any.
Can they do the install on a Friday? When you work short hours to be.
They're working on,
They need 3
weather,
days.
depending on weather, so.
Yeah, and they need
Yeah.
3 consecutive days.
They have to be, so they couldn't do it on Friday and Monday because then we have the weekend in between. They need like a Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday.
Their response, I read their response verbatim, so, I think we're kind of at their mercy, but at the same time, we have to make sure that we don't shut down power when we have to submit payroll for the employment staff and everything else. Apparently we have, I mean, allegedly we have a photograph of it, but
I can send you a photograph of it right now too. Let me Google it, generator. Where, like, if it's supposedly, they want us to pay, where is the generator?
They understand that I will not pay for it until it's on site. I mean, state statute won't let me do that.
So does
without-
Circle R have it? Like,
Yes, yes.
Okay, that's just what I wasn't understanding. Like,
I'm
they're
sorry, I
supposed to have,
wasn't
like, a route, they get
No,
lost, and it, okay.
No, they have it. It looks like they've had it for some time, and so I think they were just clearing out their books for the end of the year. So they were billing us, and when I spoke to accounts, the accounting department had indicated that we couldn't pay for a product we didn't have on site here. But if they chose to deliver it, I certainly would cut a check. She said, oh, no, we understand.
Okay.
So,
Just doing her job, okay.
she's just doing her job, I guess. So, I guess,
What options?
if we know more and what days we're gonna be without power, I mean, maybe they're working for 3 days, but we're not certain we're gonna be out of power for 3 days. Cause when the gentlemen were here prepping right before the holiday, right before Christmas, they indicated they were only gonna be, it would only be 1 day without power for 6 hours. So I guess maybe when we know a little more, we can reach out to the council. I just don't know what to do with the staff if they're sitting here in the dark with no heat and paying them. Although if we send them home and they sit at home in the light and heat, we probably still have to pay them.
And they can't work from home.
They won't be able to.
There's no power to remote in,
well,
so how,
I can create work for my work at her house, so it's,
you're gonna drop stuff off at
there's plenty of policies to be written, so we're good.
I'll need to know specific on dates and times, so because if I can't open garage doors, that's.
Well, yeah, so when was the last time you had correspondence with Circle R?
Well, that email came in at noon today.
Can we tell them that we need a notice? Like,
Well, yeah.
That's what I did submit, that I would need to know based on, and that was a response I got, which was basically that I have no idea when it's coming.
okay.
So as soon as I know, I'll pass along everything I have.
I have a contact at Circle R that I can reach out to and ask him.
On a weekend would be great.
Well,
Well,
Is,
Probably
Yes.
for that, but I'm
yes
just
and
saying.
no, because you have to look at the full aspect that in order to access the natural gas, that the
Right.
police department has to be available because they have to access our records section in the garage,
I thought that.
because that's where the supply comes from.
The current generator had its own natural gas supply with a cutoff. Didn't see why the feed to the other buildings would be.
Well, it's the electrical switching.
Right, I understand the electrical switch.
I don't think your natural gas will be interrupted to your.
I thought I heard that part, I was.
Yeah.
Commerce.
Okay, Commerce if we can. All right, so we had a meeting, we filled open board seats. I guess the only thing I need to clarify is who we appointed to stormwater. And we appointed Jack McGraw, Lisa Draves, and Alan Miglerini to stormwater.
So, no, so the positions that were being filled are staggered. I need to know who's filling which seat to know whose term will expire
I guess, yeah.
at what time. So, you know, Ellen was appointed to the sanitation for a 3-year term. And there is a 3-year term on sanitation or stormwater. I don't know if that makes sense to you or not. Other than that, I just need to know who's filling.
I just
So-
take Angie's spot. that was on there.
Yeah. So Lisa's term. Lisa would take Angie's term.
Okay,
And that one expires at the end of this year.
Okay,
Alan would be taking James Constantine's term.
okay.
And so that would be expiring in December of 2026.
And Jack would be taking Tony's term,
Okay,
which would expire in December 31st, 2025. Am I
thank
correct?
you. That, I just need
Okay.
clarification
Okay.
for that purpose. So we'll get those oaths ready to go for the stormwater meeting. And like, you can start that, right?
All right.
Is that in February, or are they doing the even months like we've done before, or are they meeting this month?
I think you should chat with your board members. I don't know.
you good with February? I mean, I'm good with February as long as you are.
Yeah, I'm good with February.
February what, did you say?
21st is the third Wednesday.
21st. Do you know the time of that?
They meet at 6:30.
6:30,
Okay.
sanitation's at 7.
All right,
You had a couple of other seats still open, but I don't know if you're planning to fill any of those yet or not.
I don't know. We didn't get any other.
Park board, the application came in today,
oh,
so I don't, they haven't had a chance to see, to, and, you know, do anything
It just
with it.
came in today.
Okay.
Okay, and I sent you the information I got about the DEDC,
yes,
for you guys to make a decision about that,
I think
whether
also,
it's today or.
I think also you
we'll move that to the future.
have Nicole
Um,
post it, and
so
it's
the
down
order-
there, yeah.
Anybody have anything?
I just wanted to say that on December 28th, this council, these elected
You're like,
officials
no,
have their
wow.
swearing in ceremony. And Corinne Peppers was nice enough to spend her time off administering the oath of office to all of us. I want to thank Hannah Loving for doing our national anthem. She did a lovely job. And our Cub Scout Pack 929 did a wonderful job on the flag ceremonies, and that was
Cooper McCart, Luke Trout, and Jace Dyer. And so I just wanted to thank them publicly because we didn't do it on the third, but we've been there so long. So I wanted to make sure that was in our minutes to thank them. And that's all I have.
Motion to adjourn.
Second.
Roll call please.
Councilwoman. Councilwoman Bozick.
Yes.
Councilwoman Graves.
Yes.
Councilman Jordan.
Yes.
Councilman McGraw.
Yes.
Councilwoman McCarthy.
Yes.